Welcome to Flip Math Lesson 24 for the 5th grade. Today we are looking at two different ideas. First of all, we're looking at the idea of parentheses in terms of order of operation and how we're supposed to use those. And we're also going to look at the associative property today, and we'll get to that in just a minute. First of all, as we look at parentheses, we can start with our example problem. It says Cecil drew 9 dragons. He painted 3 dragons black and then painted 4 dragons red. How many dragons were not painted? And so we can think about this idea and figure out exactly what we need to do to solve this problem. First of all, we know there are a total of 9 dragons. And we're looking for basically how many are not painted. So we're actually going to subtract what has been painted. From here we can see that we have a combination of 2 numbers. We have our first number of the first 3 dragons being painted added to the next 4 dragons being painted. And so we have a problem that looks similar to this. Now, according to our order of operation and our rules, when we see parentheses, that means we need to do that first. So our first step in this problem is going to be 3 plus 4, which is going to give us a 7. And then we can bring our problem down, and so now our new problem is 9 minus 7, which is going to give us an answer of 2. And this also solves our question of how many dragons were not painted. We would say 2 dragons. And so we have this idea, parentheses, helping us correctly follow an order of operation. Along with parentheses, which is most likely a pretty review idea, we can talk about the associative property, And we can see some relationships that come with the associative property in addition and multiplication, and see what happens when we start combining addition and multiplication into one problem. First of all, the question is, which of these is greater and which one is less, or are they equal? So to solve this, we're going to start inside the parentheses, and this is going to give us an answer of 5. And we're going to add that to our 7 to give us a total of 12. On to the other side, we got to once again start in the parentheses, which is going to give us an answer of 10. And we're going to add it to 2, and gives us a total of 12. So in the end, as we look at our problems are equal. And this is what the associative property of addition is going to show us. Even though we have parentheses, which tells us where we need to start, the parentheses in this case aren't going to make a difference in terms of what the total outcome is going to be. Because 2 plus 3 plus 7, even with parentheses, is going to be 2 plus parentheses 3 plus 7. All right. Either way, even though the parentheses tell us where to start, really both problems look like this. And so they are the same problem. Let's try and fix my plus sign there in the end. And so when it's all addition, same numbers, all addition, associative property says we're going to have an equal answer. We're going to look at multiplication. Let's try this again. 2 times 3 this time is 6. 6 times 7 is going to give us an answer of 42. Is that going to be greater and less? Next we have 3 times 7, starting in the parentheses. Now we're going to multiply by 2, which is also going to give us an answer of 42. And so once again, the associative property, when all of our symbols, key word here is all of our symbols are multiplication, it's not going to make a difference. Because this really, wherever the parentheses go, really doesn't change this idea, especially when all of our signs are the same. So then the next question would be, well, what happens if you start combining these two ideas together? Does the associative property still apply when we change the parentheses around, when we have a combination of multiplication and addition? And let's see what happens as we solve this. So now we have 2 times 3 which is going to give us an answer of 6. And we're going to add 7 this time to give us a total of 13. Now we go on the other side, we're going to see 3 plus 7, which is going to give us an answer of 10. And now we're going to multiply by 2. And in the end, we see that the parentheses now make a huge difference as to what our answer is going to be, since in the end our answer is greater than on this side. And so parentheses make a difference when it's multiplication and addition. The associative property does not apply. Right? So it only works when we're dealing with only one of those two types, right? When we have all pluses, it works. When we have all multiplying, it works. And so we have that idea. Then I'll leave you with a sample problem, and you can work with that and figure out whether those are equal or not. That is the end of Flip Lesson 24.